Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you are new, my name is Arina, and if you are coming back, I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I'll be swatching Y.O.U Simplicity Flush Blushers. I have 5 shades with me, and if you are interested to know how they perform and my thoughts on it, keep on watching. Now, before I jump into the swatches at the back of my hand and also on my cheeks, this is how the packaging looks like. It has a window at the front where you can see the shades, and also the shade name is on the top of the box. And these blushers claims to have a smooth and long-lasting texture, easy to blend, and delivers all the fresh look. This is how the actual packaging looks like, and this is the back where you have the shade name and also the expiry date. Also has a clear window at the front. This blush retails for RM20, but I got mine for RM1. Y.O.U Cosmetics always runs a flash sales where you can get certain products for RM1. Honestly, I am not a fan of the packaging because it feels very cheap and almost like kids makeup. It reminds me of the Pink Flash packaging, but Pink Flash, it is acceptable because it is priced very low, RM4 for one blush, whereas this one is RM20 for one blush. The first shade is O.TWO.O Sweet Apricot. It's not hardly pressed and not that creamy either. So Sweet Apricot is not fully matte blush. I can see some sheen in it, but it's not a glittery or shimmering blush. So I'm going to apply the shade Sweet Apricot O.TWO.O on this cheek. So this is the shade Sweet Apricot. It's a peachy shade and has some sheen in it. I think you can tell by how it reflects back the light. The second shade is O.TWO.O Coral Pink. It's a bit powdery. So Coral Pink has a sheeny silver shimmer, almost like a highlighter powder. So I'm curious how it looks like on this cheek. I already wiped my brush, so I'm going to apply it on this side. Definitely a sheeny blush. It gives you that healthy kind of glow from within, but if you have texture or you have blemishes like I have today, you definitely will highlight that. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna wear this again with a kind of pinky makeup look because it is beautiful. It gives you healthy flush. The next shade is O.3 Dusty Rose. So this is the shade Dusty Rose. It's a beautiful natural kind of shade. It doesn't have any sheen, but let me swatch it first. Yeah, it's almost like a powdery pink shade. I don't know, it's very light when you swatch it. It's over here. It doesn't have any shimmer or sheen. It's a flat matte blush. I think on my cheek you can see the shade, but when I swatch it on the back of my hand, because my hand is a slight bit darker than my face. The next shade is O.4 Pretty Peach, and of course this is a peachy shade. So it's one shade lighter than the first shade, which is Sweet Apricot. So I think this is true peach shade actually, and this is like a lighter peach. I'm going to apply this on the cheek. I think it has a slight sheen. So as you can see from the swatch, it looks super light, and actually on the face it does show up. Doesn't look as light as like what I swatched here. The last shade is O.5 Bubblegum Pink, and I'm gonna swatch it. So this is the shade Bubblegum Pink. This is the shade Coral Pink, and this is Bubblegum Pink. As you can tell, the Coral Pink has intense shimmer on it, whereas the Bubblegum Pink still reflects some sheen, but it is not as intense as the Coral Pink. If I were to put them side by side like this, you can see that the shade Coral Pink, the coral tone in it is the dominant tone, whereas the Bubblegum Pink, it is a true pink tone. So I'm going to put the shade Bubblegum Pink O.5 on this cheek. Okay, this is the brightest shade from the collection. and because it is bright, it does requires a bit more effort to blend it on the skin, and this will look super pretty on those who have dark skin tone. Just to recall the shades before I continue with the review, the first shade is Sweet Apricot, the second shade is Coral Pink, the third shade here, which is the lightest shade from this collection, is O3 Dusty Rose, the shade number 04 is called Pretty Peach, and the last shade 05 is Bubblegum Pink. So I'm going to rank these blushes based on my preference and how I like it against my skin tone. The first one is the shade Dusty Rose. It is the lightest from the bunch and it is the matte shade that doesn't have any sheen or shimmer. And the second favorite shade is O.TWO.O Coral Pink, which is the most shiny blushers from the collection. Has the most sheen, almost like a micro glitter scattered in the formula. The third one is Sweet Apricot, the first shade, which is, I think most people prefer this type of shade. It has a slight sheen when I swatch it on my face, but from the swatch it looks almost matte. The third shade is Pretty Peach. This is how it looks like compared to Sweet Apricot, and this is Pretty Peach. It's slightly lighter than Sweet Apricot. I prefer this shade because it looks a bit more bold than this shade, but I think this one will look very lovely for people who have fair skin tone. And lastly is the shade 05 Bubblegum. It's just because I don't wear this type of shade and I don't think it looks flattering against my skin tone. I think it depends on what eye makeup. For the shades, 4 of them has the same blendability. They blend pretty easily except for the shade 05 Bubblegum Pink because it's a bright shade, and it's the disadvantage for this shade because the other shades blends effortlessly. This one requires more effort to blend out. In terms of finish, the second shade, which is Coral Pink, is the sheeniest and the most shimmery shade out of the bunch, and I would say the most matte shade is the third shade, which is called Dusty Rose. The other shades have some shine from the formula and it is not as intense as second shade. From the reflection of my LED lights here, you can see that the second shade is the most reflective. The formula is powdery, but thankfully it is easy to blend and it's not patchy at all when I apply on my face. I did set my face beforehand with loose powder before I go in with this powder blush, so it makes it easier to blend out. But the question is it worth RM20 to purchase this blusher? Honestly, it's not, because I feel like if they price the price range with Pink Flash, I think it's worth the pickup, and I'm lucky enough to be able to get this when there was flash sale. What I would suggest is that just get it when there's like pretty good sales. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I appreciate if you can subscribe because I do a lot of makeup tutorial reviews and hauls. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I hope I see you guys in my next one. Bye. Assalamualaikum.